So, Tom, thank you so much for coming on and speaking on the podcast, giving us your time. Tell me about your day so far. What's been happening with Lullingstone Castle?
Well, it's been an interesting day, Lily, and thanks for having me on as well on your podcast.
Mm.
We're having some filming done. It's for something called The Banquet. It's a movie about a
Wow.
supernatural thriller with some Spanish director who's doing it. They've taken over
Mm.
the whole house. Poor mum who lives in the main
Wow.
house. She hasn't had much of a rest today, but it's
Yeah.
been lovely doing sharing really the and for them
Mm.
showing us in a way the process of what they do, the setting it
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
It's called the banquet. They had a banquet today. There was a four-poster bed involved. There were lots of ghouls and ghosts, smoke machines, candles. They had a
Wow.
propane gas medic. They had a
Wow.
candle assistant for health and safety. And as for the
Wow.
smoke machines, they had about 4 or 5 people for that. All the
Wow.
smoke alarms had to be turned off in the house. And I love
Wow.
it. And it's such a family one. Well, it is a family one place here. So you really are hands on with helping them out and showing them where things
Mm.
are. But it's
Right.
great day of filming. It's the biggest filming day we've had for actually a few years,
Right.
starting at
Okay.
5:30, so 6 o'clock this morning, and they just finished literally 5 to 6
Yeah.
minutes ago. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I just caught you. You kind of went from one filming scenario to now it's all about the cameras today. Like everybody wants you in your home. So
Yeah,
like
it's been interesting. I think the biggest thing for us, yeah, just a lovely place and so on, and it's beautiful, and the grounds and the house, yes, but it's the
mm,
accessibility to London town. I think that's
mm,
probably the key factor. I mean, a nice place obviously helps, but
mm,
it cuts
mm.
their production costs so much down by us
Oh,
being so close to London.
okay.
20 miles as the crow flies to Piccadilly Circus. So we
Oh,
can hear sometimes the M25 and I
okay.
think that probably helps them as well, Lily. Yeah, but
Right.
so enjoy it. It's not something that's not my profession. I'm a gardener, a horticulturalist, but
Yeah.
seeing the way they do things and big outfit as well, about 50 crew and all the vans and all the
Wow.
props getting off from the Swanee station, fully
Wow.
kitted out in all of their, in this case, sort of Tudor looking
Wow.
gowns.
Oh
It was
wow.
great. Yeah,
Wow.
great.
Yeah, what fun. But tell us all more about Lullingstone Castle and kind of what you do, because I know we launch into it, but tell us more of what are we talking about already?
Well,
Like
it's a fascinating place. I mean, we first moved here in October. I think it was mid-October, Mum said, 1361. So I'm the
13.
20th generation.
Yeah.
1361, yeah. The 20th generation of the same family too have lived here. And it's unusual to
Wow.
have that. There aren't many places left in the UK
Yeah.
like it, actually.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
such a pleasure growing up here. It's a 120-acre estate, fields, farmers' fields, a couple of farmers' fields. It's a small estate, but still, it's
Mm.
working. We're managing to turn
Mm.
it round. And
Mm.
it's been up and down with the history over the years. We've had King Henry VIII here and Queen Anne, and when she was a
Wow.
princess, she came here in
Mm.
1704 and 1705. Her four-poster
Wow.
bed is up in the house, and
Wow.
so it's a smallish estate. It's 120 acres, a couple of farmers' fields, a fishing lake which we rent
Mm.
out, and it's
Mm.
leased and rented off a lot of the manor house. There's a
Mm.
50 room house maybe, but a lot of it's leased and rented out quite
Mm.
long term, and those
Mm.
rents do bring in a bit of cash for the place. But the
Mm.
main thing recently has been the development of doing the World Garden, which is now in its 20th year. My
Yeah.
passion, if you like, and
Yeah.
that's been absolutely awesome, and that really is starting to really help the estates. It's the garden where the money's coming into for people coming to visit that's actually
Mm.
helping the buildings out. It's
Mm.
usually the other way around with a stately home, this sort of
Right.
thing, bigger
Yes.
or smaller. It's the
Yeah.
buildings that help. The garden is usually the second thing to happen or the third thing to be developed or progressed
Right.
from one
Yeah.
generation to another. The buildings come first, but in this case,
Mm.
it's actually been the other way round.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah, amazing, absolutely. Where I'm zooming you from now is from a Tudor gatehouse, the oldest brick built gatehouse in the world.
Oh, wow.
1494 it was built, so it's a sort of an
Oh,
outer keep really, rather than a grand sort of gatehouse. It's called a gatehouse, but it's an outer
wow.
keep really, with four little octagonal castellations on top. So
Wow.
the manor house is just literally about 60, 70 yards away down the
Yeah.
gravel path, with a Norman church on the left hand side, which is
Wow.
a parish church, so it's never been private.
Okay.
So yeah, one of the oldest places of continual Christian worship in Great Britain. So it's a gorgeous place, northwest Kent, the Darrant Valley, an area of
Mm,
outstanding natural beauty. So throw all of that in, and I'm a very
mm,
lucky chap growing up here. Yeah, very much
mm.
so.
Right. Have you always lived on the grounds then? Like
Yes, I
how?
have. I've mostly been in the gatehouse 20 odd years, and then it was in the old servants' quarters on the third floor where
Okay.
me and my sister used to live. Our
Mm,
bedrooms were, and that was amazing growing up. And then the usual thing of being sent off to boarding. I say the usual
okay.
thing, but being sent off to boarding school and travels abroad. I spent more time abroad in one lot, three
Yeah.
years away,
Yeah.
than actually being at school. So that was amazing.
Okay.
But basically, yes, my roots are here,
Right.
and whenever I travel abroad, I always want to come back to Lullingstone. And my
Right.
taproot is underneath the grass here, Lily. You see,
Okay.
a taproot's here.
Sure, sure. Because I guess it's your home and it's been the family home. I mean you say 20 generations and I mean tell me like how does that even happen? I mean 20 20 generations now. Like
It's very unusual. As I said, there's a couple of other Berkeley Castle, is it, in Frampton in Gloucestershire? I think they're about 1,000 years they've been there, but those people in the end, either it fizzles out or the war comes along. The Second
mm,
World War was did for
yeah,
lots of places. They turn
yeah,
into a golf course. They become a hotel.
yeah,
The owners
yeah,
just give up in the end. They find it just too much. They
yeah.
have their lead weights on their shoulders, and everyone
Mm,
says that to me. Do you feel that? And I
mm,
don't really, because I love it so much. But I
mm.
get what people mean, and people sort of give
Oh,
up, or they sort of it becomes a bit too much, and it just
right,
becomes a burden for a lot of people.
right,
So
right.
and so on. But I absolutely love it. It's been so close. It's been up for sale. Great granddad
Mm,
tried to get rid of the estate
mm.
when it was most of northwest Kent.
Yeah.
So Orpington, Dartford,
Wow.
Bromley,
Okay.
Swanley. So a lot of what's Greater London now was the estate, but no one wanted to buy it. This was in the
Oh.
1920s and 30s. Double death duties, all these things. The
Um,
war, it was requisitioned by the army.
yeah,
The army during the Second World War was a huge training camp it was taken over as. And
right. Okay.
I mean, one accidental fire in the house with the army staying here, and that would have been the end of the place. But no,
Mm,
it continued to carry on, and I'm glad it wasn't sold. I love the place, absolutely
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it truly is. It's your home by the sounds of it. Like, and as
It
well,
is.
it's a commercial property. It's a building and the gardens, and it just sounds as though like I'm not quite sure about each and every generation, but certainly yourself that you've managed to find a way to be innovative and introduce the garden, and actually that is, as you say, that's actually been the thing that's kept it going rather than the house.
It has. It's very unusual, and it's really drum home this year that fact. It's been the second busiest, not quite the busiest by just a few visitors. Second
Mm,
busiest year we've ever had. Our 20th
wow.
year of doing the garden. It's been absolutely fantastic, and
Wow.
the income, almost all of it, is because of the grounds and the two
Right.
acre walled area behind me, which has the
Okay.
world garden in it. But
Right.
today, with the filming, is actually a good point. Without the
Mm,
house, they wouldn't be here. So it's not all the
okay.
garden, but the majority,
Yeah.
over three-quarters of it, is because
Right.
of the garden. And it's
Right.
funding some of the roof repairs we've been doing. Bits of
Okay.
mortar fall off and nearly hit a visitor during the year. Bits
Oh.
fall off the gatehouse.
Oh
Another
no.
roof collapses the other day, and the
Oh.
ceiling falls in. Friends are like,
Okay.
"Oh my goodness me, Tom!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Don't worry, we'll sort the ceiling out after Christmas." And I've sort of
Okay.
grown up with it.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
but we are looking at getting grants as well as, because we're
Mm,
open for visitors, so we're eligible for
mm,
certain grants. And
mm,
I love the place, and seeing visitors' reaction when they come through. They can
mm,
feel, you mentioned this, but they can feel it's a family home, even if
mm,
they've never ever been here or heard of the place. Accidentally walked past the right of way outside the
mm.
gatehouse here,
Right.
looked in and gone, "What's in there?" They feel
Right.
immediately that sense of presence. There's always been someone here,
Yeah.
and they meet mum cleaning up the toilets, or they meet me in my garden outfit, you know, and
Yeah.
all the volunteers that help out. It's a real, well, the
Yeah.
garden team feels like a family as well. So they really
Yeah.
sense that, and they love it, and they keep coming back as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I definitely want to talk more about the volunteers and kind of the whole the family business, but in the sense of everything and who that involves, because it sounds like it's an extension, it's an extended family business, really. Um, so tell me more about your volunteers and
I mean,
everybody involved.
yeah, Lily, the setup is absolutely extraordinary, really. So it's mum in the boss, if you like, and then it's me, so the family, if you like, and then it's the
Mm,
volunteers. So it's about 8 or 9 volunteers. Volunteers, it sounds a bit patronising, really, because 4 of them have been here 19 years, and we've just grown up together. I
yeah,
mean, it's been
wow.
absolutely because of the garden. And
Right.
for volunteers, yes, they're not paid. We go out for meals.
Mm,
We have a good laugh. We have a get together at the end of this week for some Christmas do's. And there's a
uh-huh.
potting shed, small little mess from Great Granny's potting shed where we all meet before we
Yeah,
start the day's work. And they're an
yeah,
extraordinary bunch. I mean,
yeah,
the place would not work without volunteers. I think the National
mm,
Trust said without the volunteers, they'd fall apart as well.
yeah, I
I mean,
bet.
the country relies on volunteers, and in Lullingstone's
Mm,
case, we would not have got to where we were right now without that
okay,
force. I mean, they have been
yeah.
awesome. There's only 2 people that are paid. One's seasonal, the 7 months that are open for one day a week. She's
Mm,
brilliant, Francis. And then Rob does Wednesdays tomorrow,
mm,
and does the lawns and edges, and that's it. It's
mm.
basically me doing the rest of it. When the sun goes down or when people aren't around,
Oh,
that's when you
yeah.
do a lot of the work. And
Okay.
it's that combination of things, and it works really well. We've got to a point, though, Lily. I
Mm,
certainly next year,
mm.
21st year of the garden. Where do we go from here?
Okay,
It's really, we've got 8,000 different types of plant. We've built it from scratch, the garden, mostly blood, sweat, and tears.
I bet.
Um, it's been just donations of
Okay.
hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of donations of plants.
Oh, fab.
And it's just like, what do we do now? We're going to struggle
Mm.
to maintain it all. We're
Okay.
doing great this winter, but we are struggling to maintain it because
Mm.
the structure hasn't really changed over the last 20 years. People have come
Okay.
and gone, etc.
Okay.
And we've still got a great team, but it hasn't
Mm.
really progressed. The garden's
Okay.
gone crazy. The whole estate's really doing well. We're really
Yeah.
pleased with ourselves. But the
Yeah.
structure who's helping out is the same, really.
Okay.
So we need to increase the workforce, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Okay.
But it's
Work.
no, the volunteers. It's like a family, even though they're not family. Most of them, I
Mm.
mean, they're just amazing.
Mm.
They're
Yeah.
astonishing individuals. Astonishing.
Sure. Sure. But I guess it does credit to how you've managed to keep them. And they, I mean, after 19 years, I guarantee to say they enjoy it. And
Yes,
you've brought them into the family business.
you
And
certainly make an effort, and they're involved. They know how many visitors have come through. They're guiding people around the garden. They get on with mum, helping the kiosk. The lady in the
mm,
kiosk by the gatehouse, which is the entrance to the garden, to the
mm,
estate, she's paid. Jackie, actually, she is paid as well, away
mm,
from the garden team. She's the only other person that's actually paid, and
mm,
she's awesome. And everyone gets on with everybody. You're always going to get politics, Lily, in whatever you're in,
sure.
aren't you? Of course you are. But
Sure.
generally, plants dissolve all of that. And it's
Right.
just a great, great
Mm,
team. And you
mm.
can't get people away. I've had to say this week, I've got to go shopping for Christmas. I've got no one any presents.
Oh,
Or can we come round and do some pruning? No,
oh, go
please. I
away.
always say yes because I love gardening, as you know. But this week I've really got the filming today, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't do it. I've got to do this.
Okay.
The
Okay.
enthusiasm makes me look unenthusiastic. You know, they're just awesome crew, all walks of life,
Um,
all ages. It's not just people that are retired. In fact, most of them, a couple have actually retired now after 19 years of knowing them.
oh,
But usually when they first come, they're by far from retirement age. And one chap who came here was 13. He's still here.
oh wow.
So,
And
so it's not
he's been
really.
here for 19 years. The
Yes,
chap who.
that's very on and off, Lily. Actually, I can
Okay.
just about say he wasn't one of the
Okay.
people I was referring to. Actually, with 19 years,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
2 girls and another chap who are amazing. But
Mm.
just under half my lifetime. I mean, that's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad.
Wow.
So it was
Incredible.
just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But this
Mm.
young chap, he's amazing, Ben. Yeah, fantastic guy. But he is quite on and off because
Okay.
he's literally gone through his education since I've known him.
Yeah, I
Working in
bet.
a monastery in Tibet now or somewhere.
Oh, oh wow. Wow,
Yeah,
fab.
amazing character. Yeah, but a great
Yeah.
team. Great team.
It sounds it. It sounds it. And can I know more about like how were these decisions made? Because I suppose integrating a world garden, I mean, it is pretty innovative. So how was it to kind of innovate in this way and bring everybody on board in the family to allow you to create this?
Yes, well, the early stages, so 2004, 21 years ago, my goodness me. Yes, Dad was not keen. He had to borrow
Mm.
250, a quarter of £1 million. We'd never borrowed anything offset on
Okay.
a bit of the house, a flat that's rented at
Mm.
the back. And
Mm.
that was basically to get the garden going. It was the plumbing for it. It's
Right.
laid out
Yeah.
as a miniature map of the world. So each
Mm.
continent had its own tap. So all had to be
Yeah.
plumbed in, good drainage system, and the rocks that delineate the coastlines that make the areas in their actual shapes in miniature,
Yeah.
Africa, UK, Ireland, etc.
Mm.
And that was the biggest cost. So he had that to think in mind. And he said, Tom, he was a forester by trade, so he knew his stuff. He said,
Mm.
Tom, it's a stupid idea in a
Oh,
cold valley. I mean, it'd be -3 or 4 tonight. It's going to be
wow.
quite a big frost tonight. Around
Right.
here, it's not that cold, but this valley holds the cold. The cold air really
Yeah.
sinks. In the summer,
Yeah.
it's very hot, but in the winter, it's really quite cold. And he said,
Mm.
Tom, it's a silly idea growing plants from around the world in a cold frost valley. He's absolutely
Oh,
right. It's a stupid idea,
it
but
was
I was
ridiculous.
determined to do it. And now
Okay.
to look at it, we're
Yeah.
so chuffed with ourselves. We've had some ups and
Yeah.
downs and bad winters, 3 winters
Sure.
out the last 20, but it's been brilliant. But Dad was not keen. I just had to
Good.
really persuade him.
Okay.
Granny was quite upset because with her permission, but it was
Mm.
reluctantly so. We
Okay.
bulldozed her herb garden that she spent 40 years
Oh,
creating.
okay.
I should say, Lily, it was well beyond what she could cope with. It was well
Okay.
beyond that. It was
Okay.
overgrown, but
Okay.
all very emotional. Oh, very
I bet.
emotional
I
those
bet.
years ago. And Mum was but both Granny and Dad have passed away now. But Mum
Mm.
was really, Tom, just go for it. She was really good about it. I
Oh,
think she persuaded Dad behind the scenes to
okay.
change his mind.
Okay.
And he died 7 years ago. Goodness me, yeah, at 90. And I think he'd be pretty chuffed with the
Oh,
season we've just had. Not
okay.
proving him wrong. I'm not saying that exactly, but
Sure.
he didn't really deep down think that was going to work out at all. But he'd
Okay.
be really pleased. He'd be
Okay.
well stuffed to fixing his house
I
as
bet.
well. That
I
Mum's
bet.
in now. Yeah. So
Yeah, I bet. But because I hear that it was your enthusiasm and just the dedication and wanting to build this that kind of persuaded your grandma and your dad.
yes,
But for people listening, because I know that there will be people that have ideas that they're trying to get their family on board with. Like what would you say to them if there's any guidance to kind of twist people's arms or just how did you do
it's difficult, Lily. It's a funny
it?
subject. If it was a friend down the road, a friend I'd known all my life, it'd be much easier. Much easier.
Right.
It's family, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it difficult?
Yeah.
Family businesses. It was
Yeah.
really tricky, and you didn't want to offend, put Dad off even more. Granny wasn't me
Okay.
and Granny, she's raised me on plants. She was a great gardener. So that was
Mm.
slightly easier. She was upset, I have to say, but she
Mm.
knew that it was well, and she believed it would work. Dad didn't, and had to
Yeah.
borrow this £250,000. Proper old
Okay.
school dad, never borrowed any money and never intended to. And suddenly, we
Mm.
didn't know
It's
we
a lot of
couldn't get the
money.
garden going. It was a big decision. So,
Yeah.
advice persistence, but being very carefully balanced persistence.
Mm. Mm.
Very not being rude. Everyone's got a different
Mm.
relationship with their family. I know. And me and Dad
Yeah.
weren't particularly close, but not particularly distant either. The
Mm.
garden brought us together in the end, and me
Oh,
and Granny
okay.
even more so, and Mum and my sister and her family too. It was
Mm.
amazing how that's worked out.
Yeah.
But Dad, in the end, must have a little bit believed in it when he agreed to
Mm.
the money, to borrowing it,
Okay.
but also to just flatten his vegetable garden, which is now Mexico's built on top of his allotment. That was it was all very emotional. But I think persistence and just the passion and enthusiasm for it that I naturally have for it for life
Mm.
generally, but especially plants. He knew that all
Mm.
along from when I was born, but he could really see that. He
Oh.
thought if he's got that enthusiasm and passion for as much as he's talking about this garden to be, he
Mm.
will make it happen.
Okay.
He'll bring his dream to life. And I think
So,
he did believe that. But yeah, being persistent, but not overdoing it. And don't
okay.
expect him one evening to sit down
Yeah.
over a cup of tea or a drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I drip fed it over days and weeks.
Did you? Okay.
And I wouldn't say wore dad down, that's not fair, but
Mm.
really made him believe, even though I wasn't 100% sure deep
Yeah.
down, that it was
Yeah.
going to work and keep the place
Okay.
going.
Yeah. Okay. I've got you. I totally hear what you say about like not expecting it to be one question that gets the answer that people want immediately. That actually it could be a big change, particularly if this is a commercial venture. That it's like it could be this is serious things that are getting altered, even if it was an allotment in this case. But to
Yeah.
go and alter the grounds is a big thing and take out money.
It's huge
Um,
that you combine the money thing. I think the biggest thing for dad was change. Simple as that.
right.
You could
Okay.
lose a bit of the house if you couldn't repay it or whatever. Yes, I think that's back
Mm.
of his mind. But it was suddenly 2 acres of his beloved walk garden were going to
Yeah.
be flattened by JCBs in
Right.
24 hours.
Right.
I said, Dad, there might be a bit of a. I really understated the change, and I
Right.
said, Dad, it'd be lovely if you went shopping on Monday morning. So he
Okay.
did, and he came back from the shopping, and
Oh,
just he
he was
was
all thank.
great with it because I had
Mm.
been fairly transparent. I
Mm.
had
Okay.
certainly underplayed
Okay.
certain things, but I'd
So,
been honest.
sure.
I'd been
Be honest.
absolutely honest. I just the way
Mm.
I worded it, and I was trying to be not too dramatic and enthusiastic
Mm.
about it. But
Okay.
it's difficult because you really want it to happen, and you
Yeah.
believe you can do it, despite
Right.
what people were saying. Oh,
Mm.
Lily, away from dad. Oh, the neighbours. I'm not being
Oh
rude to the
yeah.
neighbours. They're lovely. Some of them are still here and alive, and
Yeah.
all the people in the village
Yeah.
absolutely against. Not against it, but what a
Mm.
waste of time. What a
Yeah.
stupid idea. And I
Mm.
suppose they wouldn't mind me saying that. They all come round as
Okay.
visitors now, all with their kids, and are like, "What an
Mm.
amazing attraction, Tom! You've created. The team's
Mm.
created because you
Right.
believed in what you wanted to do. You're following your dream." But
Yeah.
the negativity was, I mean, we're filming for a BBC series as well,
Yeah.
a
You
BBC Two
mentioned.
series, two six-parters over
Yeah.
2 years, 2006 and seven, and the
Right.
film crew loved it. There was the neighbours falling out. There was storms. It
Oh.
was not a great start, which played into Dad's
Yeah.
psyche a bit of like, this is
Okay.
not meant to happen, Tom.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's all very difficult. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
rambling now. Sorry.
No, not at all. Because I mean, like a huge change. And I hear that the honesty was key. That you were transparent, that like this is a big thing and it's costly and
I
people are
made
not gonna
nothing up,
like it.
Lily. I made nothing up. It was just the
Mm.
way that it's worded.
Okay.
I mean, I really played down. The machines had come in. These when they're going to come in, Dad. We'll see how things. I knew in one day that garden was going to be cleared, the whole walled area, and they
Wow.
didn't hang about. These guys, friends with chainsaws. I was
Wow.
amazing. But I said, looking to come in for this time, maybe get done in a day. I didn't actually know whether they'd be finished in a day. Just wording it,
Mm.
not trying to. For me, that was difficult, not to be too enthused as well. So
Okay.
you're getting your point across enthusiastically about certain things, but then downplaying it.
Yeah.
And that would be interesting. We'll see how things go. I knew how
Mm.
things were going to go,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was great, amazing, and he really loved it for the remainder of his life. Really,
Oh,
he really
yeah.
enjoyed walking around the garden and so on.
Oh, oh, fab, fab. How long do you reckon it took him to love it and kind of know that it was working well? Like how
Oh,
did the transition go?
it was a transition. It wasn't overnight. So we borrowed the money end of 2004. I would suggest probably beginning of 2007. So it was, yeah,
Okay.
2.5, almost 2.5 years. And I think
Right.
that's based on the visitors coming in, is what he based it on, which is fair
Mm.
enough.
Sure.
We had no PR. Everyone was volunteering their time there's a PR
Mm.
lady helping out locally. She was awesome. So the
Mm.
visitors coming in and the coaches starting to come in, that made such a difference. That gave him a
Mm.
boost and showed
Okay.
that it could work from a financial point of view as well.
Sure. Yeah.
And we finished paying off the mortgage a year ago now. Yeah, at the end of
Okay.
this year. It was a year ago after 20 odd years. So it was great. You know, he'd be pleased with that.
Mm. Oh, yeah. Because I could see a big part of that transition would be the confidence that it's worked. Like
Yeah.
thinking as a businessman or that this is an enterprise that has money attached. Like that was it for him. I'm hearing.
Yeah, you're right, and then that really focused the mind, that £250,000, as it would, and he
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, he must have believed. Obviously, he believed he would. If Dad thought it was not going to work and didn't, he wouldn't have. Of course, he wouldn't
Mm.
have done it. But I
Sure.
think it took a while until 2007 of putting the money down
Mm.
2.5
Mm.
years earlier,
Right.
almost
Mm.
3 years really, that I
Yeah.
think when he saw the visitors coming in and the accountant saying this is actually working out quite well, I think that's what
Ah,
really did it. And the beauty of the garden and
yeah.
all the team that were developing and helping out, but it's
Yeah.
seeing the money coming in that obviously makes the final thing,
Yeah.
which of course
Sure.
I understand. Yeah,
Sure. Sure. Huge peace of mind.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. But it sounds like there was enormous trust in yourself, like your vision, your passion. Like they really trusted you and like believed in you, it sounds.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Granny throughout, really, I think from the word go, and I mentioned it to her, I think they're just a bit upset about it all simply because of the work she'd put in. But then knowing this wasn't out of the blue. I've been building it up with Granny, not
Mm,
so much Dad, but with Granny for years about the
mm,
idea of the garden, which started 25 years ago when me and
mm.
my friend were kidnapped in Colombia. And
I've
we were going
heard
to
of
be
it.
executed on one particular day during our kidnapping.
Yeah.
And they said, you got 5 hours before we blow your heads off. I started scribbling what's turned into the garden. So that actually, Lily, fully answers the question, I think, because
Mm,
I knew if I could survive that 10 months of captivity and not get my head blown off, and my
mm.
friend, it's 25 years this coming Sunday, 21st of December, since we were
Is it?
released. And he's coming round this Sunday, Paul. He's got with his
Oh,
son. It's going to be great. And his
wow.
mum. So I believed if I could survive that, that also was in my
Yeah.
mind. I could build a garden in the cold, frosty valley in Kent called
Mm,
the World Garden.
right.
Definitely, if
Yeah.
I could survive that, I could definitely do the garden
Okay.
itself. Yeah, but they
Okay.
did. Yeah, they definitely. Mum always did. She's so chilled, Mum, and it was great. And Granny and Dad just took that period of time
Mm,
to believe in it, see it actually working, but the money side
mm.
of it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. It sounds like what happened in Colombia is just like, I mean, talk about the resilience and like how your passion for giving 5 hours notice that then you were going to be assassinated and murdered. That's when your passion like really came to light. Just the inspiration.
It focuses your mind all right, doesn't it? You know, with an M16 gun, it certainly does. And we thought they would. It'd be an accident probably. They were so, honestly, that was crazy. They're mostly kids were sort of setting off guns and throwing grenades at each other and cutting each other with machetes. Oh, it was a
Right.
full on chaos. Me
Yeah.
and Paul we should never have gone there. We're looking for rare species of orchid, rare
Oh,
species of flower at the time. Idiots
okay.
in 2000 in the
Mm,
Darien Gap and the Panamanian Colombian border. But
mm,
yes, resilience is the word, and definitely the back of my mind. 5 years later, in
mm,
2004, 2005, I was thinking
mm,
if I can survive that, I can do this garden
mm.
as
Right.
well. And I put that across to Dad, and he obviously saw that point too. So, but Dad,
Mm,
yeah, it was very
mm.
difficult in
For
2004. I
him.
mean, very
Yeah.
emotive. It really was emotional time, but yeah,
Okay.
it's really worked out.
Yeah. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that it's worked out. I mean, it sounds like an absolute dream come true that it's worked out.
It
Uh,
really has, and this year has epitomised the entire what you've just said, the dream coming
mm,
true, but the quality of the garden and the seriousness
right.
with which we're taken within botanical circles too. Really, that
Right.
edge that we've got, which only in the last few years I think has
Mm,
been happening with better
mm.
labelling in the garden, interpretation in the garden,
Okay.
guided tours of. We've doubled our coach numbers in 6 months. It's absolutely ridiculous. Going to
Mm,
have someone help me with this next year. I do all
wow.
the guiding, pretty much all of it.
Okay.
So the interpretation and the knowledge that people want from a visit now, a lot of
Mm.
other places I'm sure is the same, but the people want to know what the sites are. They
Ah,
don't want to read a guidebook necessarily or look at the
ah,
leaflet. They want to be told verbally by a
ah.
guided tour around the garden of what's
Right,
what. And
right.
I love it. But
Yeah,
it's great, yeah. So it's been great. Full, yeah,
yeah,
very exciting, really. I have to
yeah.
say.
It sounds it. It really
Croissant's
sounds.
lovely, by the way.
He's eating a croissant, everybody, just in case people wonder what's happening there. Um, can I know more about what people can expect from Lullingstone Castle? What's coming up? What's next?
Next year is going to be hilarious. So 2026, we've got more special events than we've ever had before. So we have some medieval weekend, English
Oh,
Civil War weekend.
wow.
We've never done that before.
Hmm.
It's going to be quite a big event.
Yeah.
And we do a plant hunters weekend at the end of August. We dress up as Victorian plant hunters and bring it back to life of all these men and ladies that brought back all these different plants. But the
Oh,
biggest, most favourite show for me is we're now the biggest annual cactus and succulent show in
oh,
Great Britain, with the biggest
wow.
event for an annual cactus and succulent show. Got about
Wow.
60 stall holders, exhibitors sharing their
Wow.
wares from all over the country,
Oh,
showing their
yeah.
wares from all over the
Yeah.
country, cacti and
Wow.
succulents. And it's for a Mexican weekend, sort of tied in with that, because we've got more
Oh,
plants from Mexico in the garden, some of which I've
wow.
collected myself, than
Yeah.
anywhere else in the world garden. We've got about 1,000 species. And I
Wow.
got my sombrero on and the poncho. We've got a mariachi band and lots of tequila that I'm
Wow.
not drinking, of course, but there's lots
Okay.
of tequila. And oh, it's such good fun. These events bring more visitors in, yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
of course they do, but it's so enjoyable. Very much,
Oh.
very much. I'm usually the car parking assistant because the car parking here is quite chaotic, but it's all part of the whole, yeah, the
Yeah.
whole part of it. And the
It's
guided
fun.
tours, as I mentioned, have been fantastic. And not doing an event normally, but certainly
Mm.
on a Wednesday,
Mm.
Thursday, certain days you pick for guided tours and so on.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
just been great, been really
okay.
great.
Yeah. Incredible. It sounds like everything is really like, I mean, coming together in the sense that it always has come together. But the garden and your property, I know it is a zillion years old at this point. It's been in the family for since time.
Beginning
But
of time.
it
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah.
like this place is so truly yours. But it's really maturing and it's getting a lot of attention and like it's flourishing by the sounds of it.
It's onwards and upwards. It really feels like that, and the momentum that we've got. It's a
Mm.
weird stat: 60% of the people that come each year, Lily, return either the following year or
Oh
the
yeah.
same year. I
Wow.
mean, I got a friend Neil Miller at Hever Castle just down the road, way more famous than us, way more and much bigger. And they're 500,000 visitors a year. We get about 20,000, and so
Okay.
on. But they're just like, how many people return within a year? They don't get
Wow.
that.
Right.
And it's that's a real that's
Right.
vindication for what we're doing. I think a
Mm.
lot of that is it's a friendly place. We do lots of different things during the year, yes. But for
Mm.
me, the biggest comment is because you've got so many different types of plant in the walled
Mm.
area, in the world
Mm.
garden. They come 2 or 3 times a year to see the different plants in flower because of the range of
Mm.
flowers. You've got a
Right.
range of flowering times. And I think
Yeah.
that's probably one of the biggest draws for the garden, which is
Mm.
unintentionally in a way, but it's
Yeah.
just how, as a byproduct of doing it, is people come back twice a year because it looks so different in April, in spring,
Yeah.
compared to say September
Oh,
with the
I
different
bet.
range of plants.
Yeah, I bet. And I can appreciate how the metrics help, like money coming in and like a 60% retention rate. Like these things are really empowering and feel great. Like numbers.
Oh, it's brilliant. Absolutely incredible. It's just means so much. We got a little season ticket, which is like a little passport we make, and you can stamp it as you come in. It's got a miniature map of the world in the passport,
Oh,
and people can stamp each continent, or
oh
the lady
yeah.
at the kiosk stamps each continent as they come
Yeah.
in, like you
Yeah.
had a passport. It's
Yeah.
quite fun. And the season ticket is very modest for family and for a couple and for singles, but we've got
Mm,
about 200. Obviously, it's only for a year. I say obviously, but it's only
mm,
for a year, so people
mm.
don't always rejoin, or they may or may not do that. But they're roughly, we have about 200 at any one year who've got a
Okay.
passport, and they
Right.
really are regulars. I mean, they're coming 5, 6 times a year. They bring
Wow.
their friends. We're very much word of mouth. We've got very basic PR.
Mm.
A
Okay.
lady who helps out's awesome, a few
Right.
hours a week, but it's very, very basic, but
Yeah.
very effective. Very
Okay.
effective. Small team, mostly
Yeah.
voluntary, but
Yeah.
very effective.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. Because it sounds like, I mean, of course, it is a family business, like your 20th generation. But I mean, what a testimony for family businesses doing what they love, what they care about, making sure that it's like financially, commercially viable, and building that team that care and that they want to be there really allows things just to really flourish.
It does, and in every department too, Lily. So you've got the house, mum's got some helpers, you've got the lady on the kiosk who comes
Mm,
in. She also helps, she helps in the garden a bit during the winter as well. The
mm,
front of house, if you like, the first face you see, she's 84 nearly.
mm,
Only started last year. She's absolutely incredible, this lady. And it's all happened organically. We don't put job advert. We never have for anything. Job
mm,
advert. People organically sort of
they
appear.
come.
That sounds a bit stupid, but they just appear there. I think it's the ley lines here or something. People
Okay.
get sort of magnetically drawn.
Yeah.
And that sounds a bit silly, but it's basically true. And how people end up here. She accidentally turned up one day. She got the wrong venue. She's been here for 2 years and she's absolutely amazing. She got the
Nice.
wrong place. She got the wrong sat nav thing on a
Okay.
tom
And then
tom
she
wrong.
just she stayed. She
Yeah, she
stayed.
said, she said this place is great. What's it called? I was like, who are you? She was great. And it's just the way, by just finding out, but just by being interested in people. I love plants, but people as
Mm,
well. And just chatting to
mm,
people random. Always had that ethos. You never know what's around the
yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
And I probably missed out on loads of things we all have because we didn't talk to that person. We didn't
Yeah.
do this or that.
Yeah.
We didn't do a Zoom call with Lily, or we didn't
Yeah.
do, whatever it is. I've always
Sure.
had that thing of just chatting to people. You never know what's going to happen next.
Sure.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, and the garden, the other aspect, the house, the kiosk, the garden. Yeah,
Mm,
it really feels like this
sure.
year. If the team are still up for it for years to come, I'm
Mm,
sure they will be. If they're all still around, then we're on
yeah.
the right track. We're on the right track.
Sure. On the right track. Sure. I'm so glad to know everything that you share, like the stories, like the passion. It sounds like there's so much enthusiasm. Thank you so much for sharing with everybody listening about how it's all been. Because I think it's a real takeaway about following that passion and kind of including people and like integrating and like being like for it to welcome the opportunity that you've done and your family have done.
It's
So,
true. It's absolutely essential. And Lily, most people helping out aren't into plants. Well, they are now,
oh,
but they weren't into plants or gardeners. I
sure.
mean, they're accountants or worked at HS Samuel, is it the jewelers? Jack used to
Okay,
work.
HS.
They're not got a plant background, but they have now. And
Okay.
that's what's interesting is because they're just enthused, because I'm enthused. And it just
Mm,
not infects people, what's the word? But yeah, infectious sort of enthusiasm for it. And I think
sure.
that's really so it's
Yeah.
not just they haven't done RHS, Royal Horticultural Society courses or been
Okay.
on to gardening
Yeah.
schools or almost
Right.
all of them have just coming because of pure enthusiasm
They want
for,
to.
for plants, and you can't keep them away. They're not coming tomorrow. They're still texting.
Okay.
Can I come? No, you can't. Please,
Go away. Yeah. Yeah. Because you
in a
have
lovely
Christmas
way.
shopping to do.
I feel bad because I love being in the garden, but I've
Oh.
got to do the shopping, the accounts, and sort this film lot out.
Sure. Sure. Sounds great. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer. Maybe the last question from me is if you had a message for other family businesses who might be struggling, they might be thriving, but people who are listening, what would that message be directly to them?
Just go for it. It doesn't matter how down you're feeling or how the roof falling in Is the numbers falling? Perhaps it's not. I'm giving an optimistic vibe. We've had a good last few years, but I
Mm,
know it's not the
mm,
case everywhere. And just
mm,
keep going. These family businesses, especially stately homes or whatever size,
mm,
are so important. The nation's heritage is so important. A lot of family businesses are in this position, and
mm,
it's not rosy. I'm making it out to be. A
yeah,
lot of days aren't, but a bit of
sure.
passion and enthusiasm for me and for the
Mm,
entire team here are
mm,
key, I think, to knock down any barriers, any boundaries,
mm,
any difficulties. Bit of
yeah,
passion, enthusiasm for the place or for the plant, in my case, it
yeah,
makes it a heck of a lot easier. But don't give up. And if someone says you can't do it,
sure.
obviously do the opposite.
Okay, okay. Keep going. Just keep going is
Keep
the
going,
message.
keep going. That's it. Battling on, isn't it? Everyone says keep battling on.
Perfect. Perfect. Tom, thank you so much for sharing. I'm so glad to hear the story. As I said, it's been great to talk.
And you, it's great. Thanks so much for having me on.
No.